In my video on V Rising, I talked about how vampire games have always been hit or miss. For every cult classic, there's a disappointing misstep, and I mentioned Vampyr as one of the rare examples that actually got some things right. What truly sets Vampyr apart is its bold decision to put morality, story, and difficult choices at the very center of the experience. It isn't just about playing through a tale of vampires. It's about constantly weighing compassion against survival and watching the consequences ripple through a fragile city on the brink. So today, let's take a closer look at how the developers brought this vision to life, why it still matters years later, and whether Vampyr truly earned its place among the best vampire games, or if nostalgia is making us kinder than it deserves. You play as Dr. Jonathan Reed, a World War I surgeon who awakens in a London mass grave with no memory of what happened and an irresistible thirst for blood. Caught between his oath to save lives and his new nature as a predator, Reed is thrust into a city already ravaged by the Spanish flu. The central question, what is right and what is wrong, drives every decision.
What is darkness but lurking sun? What is wall but enslaved stone? What is glass but tortured sand? What is song but a call to arms? What is hate but jilted love? What is life but death pending?
Building a game around that kind of moral conflict wasn't easy, and the story really starts with Dontnod's projects before Vampyr. In 2013, the studio released Remember Me, a third-person action adventure set in a dystopian future where memories themselves could be digitized, bought, sold, and stolen. Remember Me built a reputation for bold storytelling, even if its execution was divisive at the time. From there, Dontnod wanted to push themselves further. Vampyr wasn't just another project, it marked a leap into new territory for the studio. In an interview on the Unreal Engine website, Vampyr's game director Philippe Moreau recalled, "After the release of Remember Me, we created two separate teams. One was for Life is Strange, and the other was for an action RPG. We wanted to focus on diversifying ourselves. We decided to take this risk because we believe these kind of games are a perfect match with what Dontnod is known for." The inspiration for Vampyr blended gothic novels with period medical dramas and historical archives. Writer and director Stéphane Beauverger, sorry for butchering your name, and his team drew from a wide range of influences. Gothic classics like Dracula, Carmilla, and Nosferatu, as well as gritty medical dramas such as Casualty 1900s and The Nick. They even traveled to London and studied historical archives to bring neighborhoods like Whitechapel and the Isle of Dogs to life with as much authenticity as possible. From the very start, the goal was to make Vampyr look as cinematic as possible. The team focused on atmosphere, using fog, wet reflective streets, and strategic backlighting to give London depth and mood. Careful color grading added a film-like quality, making the city feel both authentic and unsettling. I think they managed to achieve that, and honestly, it's the kind of visual style Frogwares should aim for in their Sherlock Holmes games. The voice cast was central to Dontnod's vision, and Jonathan Reed is brought to life by British actor Anthony Howell. A seasoned performer in both television and games, Howell has lent his voice to titles like Black Myth Wukong, Lies of P, Steel Rising, Vampire the Masquerade, Elden Ring, and Diablo 4. His performance in Vampyr grounds Reed's inner conflict, giving weight to a character caught between compassion and hunger. That duality, respected doctor versus bloodthirsty predator, isn't just a story beat, it's the heart of the game itself. Every choice pushes you closer to one identity or the other, and the tension comes from deciding whether to embrace the monster, cling to the hero, or attempt the impossible balance between the two. In many ways, Vampyr could be summed up with a simple motto. You play both the monster and the hero. The story unfolds like a dark detective mystery. Jonathan Reed is searching for answers to his own transformation, while navigating London's secret vampire aristocracy, battling the fanatical guard of Priwen, and carrying the crushing guilt of his past. At its core, the narrative is heavy with moral tension. Every decision, who to save and who to sacrifice, carries weight, making relationships just as important as combat. London itself is a semi-open world, divided into 4 districts with their own personalities and health scores that reflect the well-being of their citizens. Combat within it is serviceable but not spectacular. Fights revolve around dodge rolling, parrying, and short melee combos with improvised weapons like swords, pipes, and axes, backed up by firearms such as the Webley revolver. Reed's vampiric powers add some flair, letting you dash across the battlefield, cloak in shadows, hurl blood spears, or bend enemies to your will. The combat isn't bad, it works, but it's never the main focus of the game. What truly defines Vampyr is its citizens. London is populated by around 60 unique NPCs, each with their own personality, backstory, and relationships. You can help them, earn their trust, and uncover their secrets. But you can also stalk and feed on them. Feeding grants a massive boost in experience points, but it comes at a cost. Some quests become unavailable, and entire districts can spiral into collapse if too many lives are lost. Because NPCs are interlinked through relationships and quest lines, every decision feels like pulling on a thread that could unravel the wider city. That's where Vampyr shines. Not in its combat, but in its characters and choices. The strength of the game lies in building connections, uncovering stories, and deciding how far you're willing to go to survive. It's less about being a powerful vampire and more about what you're willing to sacrifice, your humanity, your duty, or your city, to embrace that power. So, is Vampyr still worth playing in 2025? I'd say absolutely. The story and voice acting remain top-notch, pulling you deep into its brooding London. The visuals, atmosphere, and music have aged gracefully, and while the combat may not be revolutionary, the moral choices and interconnected NPC system still feel unique even today. If you value narrative-driven experiences, Vampyr is a story well worth sinking your teeth into. For Dontnod, Vampyr marked a turning point. Afterward, the studio doubled down on narrative adventures like Life is Strange 2, Twin Mirror, and Tell Me Why, refining their reputation for emotional storytelling. But the DNA of Vampyr, that balance of choice, consequence, and character-driven drama, never really left them. You can see it in their reunion with Focus Entertainment on Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden. Instead of vampires, it's about spirit hunters in 17th century America, torn between love, duty, and the restless dead. Just like Vampyr, it asks players to weigh lives against personal power, but in a fresh, haunting setting. It truly feels like an evolution, a spiritual, pun intended, successor to Vampyr, carrying forward the same moral dilemmas and character-driven storytelling, while opening a whole new chapter in Dontnod's journey. And that's perhaps Vampyr's true legacy. Not as a franchise, but as a foundation. Its emphasis on moral choices, interconnected characters, and haunting atmosphere still echoes in the games Dontnod creates today. That same spirit lives on in Banishers, where the question isn't just who you're willing to sacrifice, it's who you're willing to let go. And that's a story that deserves its own deep dive. If you'd like me to do a full deep dive into Banishers, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, sink your teeth into the subscribe button and help keep our channel alive. And if you still have a taste for more undead content, don't forget to check out our in-depth video on V Rising. After all, there's plenty of vampire lore to go around. Thanks for watching.